So you just got your Cricut. Now what? Today, I'm going to be helping you navigate through Cricut Design Space and guiding you so you can successfully complete your first projects. Let's get started. Once your Cricut Design Space has been installed, then you just double-click on the icon to open it. This is what your Cricut homepage looks like. On the top will be your projects, and all of the things on the bottom are Cricut Access member projects. Cricut Access is basically a subscription service for $9.99 a month, ongoing until you decide you don't want to be an Access member anymore. It does have a lot of great ideas, but that doesn't mean that you can't create great projects without being an Access member. I do really enjoy going through them and seeing a lot of the great ideas and getting some inspiration from them. But now I'm going to be showing you how to get started on a project yourself without having to pay. So what you want to click on up here is just click on New Project. This is your canvas, basically your grid to starting your new project. I'm going to just briefly go through what these over here are. Basically, this is a template. So if you want to make an apron, it will also automatically populate an apron to help guide you on sizing, along with any of these other ones. They're great templates, basically. It's not the project itself, but it basically can help you size things correctly and be successful. The next one is projects. Again, a lot of these are Cricut Access projects. Not all of them though, so I'm going to show you how to figure out what you have to pay for and what is free. So what you can click on is here, all categories, is basically just as it says, all categories. If you don't want to pay for anything, if you click on free, this is all of the free projects. These do change frequently, so definitely keep an eye out for them. And there's actually a good amount of them, and it's really fun to look through these and see what is available. There is also free for your Cricut Explore Air, Cricut Explorer 2 and 1, based on what your machine is. And then there's all kinds of categories to get inspiration from. The next one down here are images. So there's a lot of Cricut images. Up here it says over 100,000. Many of them are Cricut Access, or you can pay for them individually. So if you think you're going to use one and it's 25 cents or $1, purchase it. But there also is this category here. It says free this week. And basically there's over 2,000 images that are free. If you have an idea about what you want to search, it will definitely narrow that down. Otherwise, feel free to look through all of those. There's a lot of fun projects, cards, templates, shapes, all kinds of things. One that I use quite frequently is the shapes. They've got all kinds of amazing things available for free. And how you know that, even if it has the A, it will say free down here. So then you know that you're not going to be billed or charged for any of these items. So I'm going to go ahead and just insert one of these shapes. Okay, so the next one is text. So basically it will bring up a text box. You type in what you want to say. If you want to change the font, it will just do the go-to font is Cricut Sans. When you automatically open this, it will click on all, which ultimately will show you what fonts you have to pay for. Some of them, it will take a lot of scrolling through to find the free ones. The easiest way to find the free fonts is just to click on the Systems link, and that will show the free fonts along with the fonts that you may have downloaded over time. I'm just going to actually, I'm going to show you this one. Click on one that I believe I had downloaded on Mario. I'm not sure if that one was downloaded from DaFont or if that one was one of the free ones there. But anyway, that's how you know and find all the free fonts. And they do have a fair amount of them, and there's, again, a lot of ways to get free fonts that you do not have to pay an arm and a leg for. The next category over here is shapes. These are here at all times. And basically, you just click on whatever one you want, and it will auto-populate. It almost always brings up the shape in the dark gray. You can change the color using this here, and you can make it any color you choose. And then the last button over here is upload. And basically that is if you have any images that you want to upload through Pinterest or Google or wherever you get your images, this is where you go to upload those images. And you click on upload, find that image, and it will guide you through that. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you is how to adjust the text. So as you can see here, this is a script writing, and the spacing looks a little bit funny and the words are not connected. And if I print that, I don't really want them individual, I want them all connected. So what you do is you make sure that this is highlighted here. These 4 characters here, this one will delete it, this one can rotate it, this one will resize, and then this one will unlock it if you want to resize it wider or more narrow. Okay, so that's what these 4 buttons are, and they're pretty much the same for any image. What I'm going to do is come over here and on the layers page and hit ungroup. That is going to make each of these letters individual, so then I can move them over and attach them. And this comes in handy when you're doing a lot of them. Then the next thing you do is you want to make sure that you regroup these, or else every time you try to move them, you're going to have to move them individually and reconnect them each time. Down here is the attach button as well. This will cut them still individually. So if you want them attached, but yet you want them cut as separate letters, then you hit attach. If you want this to be cut as a single ELLO, as a single cut, then you want to make sure you weld this together. Once you weld, you cannot undo it. So make sure you weld it maybe right before printing if you think you might make changes. There's button up here is undo. That will always undo that. But once it's welded, the only way to undo it is by this button up here, which then you would lose all your previous work. So just use that cautiously. But yet that is very important if you want it to cut as a single shape. Okay, so up here, I'm just going to show you, okay, let's say we're going to print a name tag and we're going to have this cut out. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to change this to a little bit lighter color. I want to put this hello on here. Sometimes this is on top of it. What you hit here is you can arrange, or you can right click and that will also bring up the arrange button here. And you can send it to the front or backwards. Since this is correct, we don't need to make any changes, but sometimes the shapes are in the front. So now you can see, okay, the sizing and how well that will look together. Okay, so the next thing up here I want to show you is the line type and what these mean. This means cut. So basically this is going to cut at the setting it is. It's going to cut a blue square, or it's going to prompt you to put in a blue paper. If you want it to draw a square, you can click on draw and it will just draw the outline. And basically your Cricut has, next to the blade, it has a hole so you can stick a pen or marker or a pencil into that spot and it will actually draw this on the paper or product that you put in there. If you hit score for this, basically it will have dotted lines going around it and score the shape into the paper. And then foil is for foil transfer. These are different settings. We will go into those later, but we don't need to worry about those right now. The other thing here is if you're going to cut, you want to make sure this says no fill. If you have print, that means that this is going to prompt you to send it to your printer for a print and cut image like a sticker. So if that is not what you want, make sure that the fill is no fill if you want that image to be cut out. And you can see here this is the score and what that would look like. This button basically here, select all, pretty self-explanatory. The edit, it's the same thing, cut, copy, and paste. You can also, use your, Control C or Command C, depending if you're on an Apple or a normal PC. The other thing is, the next one is here is align this button. If I want to have something centered into a shape, then you can, let me see if I can get it to show up. Basically, this one will show up and you can align it over to the edge, the center, middle, anywhere you want it to go. So that does come in handy if you're having a hard time getting things centered. The arrange button, again, we've gone through, send back, move back. So if you, this one, the only option, it would come behind this one if you say send to back. If you say move, the difference between send to back and move backwards is if you have multiple layers, it will move one layer at a time, versus send to back would move it all the way to the back. These one, flip, you can, it's again pretty self-explanatory here, but you can mirror if you need to, or if this one you're like, oh, well, I'm going to, well, these are actually the same both ways, but the images can be flipped. If you know the exact dimensions you want that to be, so let's say I'm like, oh, I want this to be 4 inches, it will automatically change that to there, or you can do this and see the size up here. Rotation, again, if you want to turn things at certain degrees, that's what that button is for. And then the more button, again, these are just positioning. If you want them to be in a certain position, you can fill that in. Over here is, again, your layers page. That's where you can group and ungroup. If you want to duplicate things here, instead of copy and paste for edit, you can just hit duplicate or delete, or you can just hit the X button if you want it to go away. If, let's say, you only want to print this shape here and you don't want to print any of this, but yet you don't want to delete it, all you need to do is this eyeball button is just hit hide. And basically that will hide those shapes. It doesn't go away from your saved projects, it will just hide them and not try to make it when you hit make. There's one last thing that I want to show you is the slice tool. What I'm going to do is show you what this does, and it is pretty amazing what you can do with this slicing tool. So I'm going to just show you here 2 squares. So I'm going to basically put 2 squares on top of each other, highlight it, and then the slice is going to show up. If you do not have, if you have it welded or attached, that will not show up. So then basically what it does is it cuts it into 3 different pieces here, and then it can leave you with just a square or a rectangle or a circle if you want that to cut out or print it, or anything like that. Along with if you want multiple shapes. So let me show you if, for this one, for instance, let's say you're like, oh man, this is really cool, but I only want these first 4 stars and these other 3 I don't want here. How can I get rid of them? There's not an eraser tool here like there is in Photoshop. So what I do is I just open a shape of any kind and I basically will cover the shapes that I don't want there anymore. And then you highlight that and then you hit slice. And then you're going to see these kind of pop through, and basically it is slicing those off. So then you can erase those and it will leave you with those items that you wanted to remain. So this is really handy if you want to get rid of anything in a pre-made image or any of your uploads. It is a fantastic way to erase things. Instead, since you do not have an eraser tool. Very good. Well, I hope this helps you feel a little bit more comfortable. Again, the Cricut is so much fun, and I have really had a lot of fun using this and Design Space. It does feel a little overwhelming at times, but I promise you, with time and practice, it will become second nature to you. Please, if you have any questions or comments on this or anything that you want to learn how to do, please feel free in the comment section to let me know.